Hi, welcome to Play a Good Knife and Fork, Cooking and Eating the PK Way. My name is PK Newby, and tonight I'm going to be making some squash soup with the wonderful squash that I found from the Cambridge Winter Farmers Market. So it's going to be really tasty. It's still winter-like temperatures here in Boston now in March, and why don't you join me and I'll show you how it's done. So what I've done is I've roasted butternut squash, acorn squash, and 2 sweet potatoes. And as you saw, I got a little bit hungry and had a little bit of taste here. These are roasted perfectly. All I did was put these into the oven at 425 degrees for about 40 minutes or so. I cut them open, I removed the seeds, I put a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper on them, threw them in the oven, voila, there they are. While that was happening, I also made some vegetable stock. You know how I love to make vegetable stock. There's another video about that I'll link to on my blog. So lastly, for tonight's soup, I have some celery, I have an onion, and I have some garlic. So all that's going to happen at this point is I'm going to chop this up. I'm going to put on the soup pot at medium high-ish heat. I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil in here, a few tablespoons or so. You see all this squash here, it's going to make up quite a lot. So while I get these happening, I'm going to be back with you in a few minutes. The only other thing I'll say is that you can see now that I've made my vegetable stock here, I have another bag ready for another vegetable stock. So I'm putting my cuttings in here for another time, and I'll meet you back here in a few minutes as we get our soup going. Okay, so you saw me chopping up the celery before. I've also chopped up some onion. That was 3 stalks of celery, 1 onion, and I've minced some garlic as well. This olive oil is hot over here, as you can hear. Just going to add this all in. Garlic cooks very quickly, so I won't add that in until the ending of the process. So I'm going to give this a little stir. I'm going to add a little bit of kosher salt. A little black pepper. And that's it. So all I'm going to be doing at this point is letting these sweat, or letting them cook down, maybe 6 or 7 minutes or so. At the end of that process, I'm going to add the garlic. While that's happening, I'm going to take the squash out of their skins so it's ready to go in here. So I'll meet you back here in a few minutes after these have all sweated down. So our vegetables have been sauteed. I'm ready to add the garlic, and I'll give it a stir. You need about 30 seconds, 45 seconds with the garlic. It cooks so quickly and you don't want to burn it, so that's why I'm adding it at the end. Oh, it smells great. Okay, now I'm going to add the sweet potatoes. It took me a lot of willpower not to just eat these because it's so delicious, as you can see. And I'm going to go ahead and add it with the skin. You can remove the skin if you prefer, but lots of fiber in there, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now, you can see all this other squash that I removed. Again, I had butternut and acorn. I'm going to go ahead and add that as well. So you can use whatever squashes you want or whatever mix. Many times I just use butternut, but I felt inspired at the farmer's market, and it's the final winter soup probably. So I just got a mix, as you saw. So I'm going to add in this entire container. It's probably about 3 cups or so. Oh, that's looking so amazing. So I'm going to add actually some more stock. This is a clean Pyrex. I'm going to just take some out of my huge vat here. I'm going to let it go with that for now. So I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes just to let the flavors come together. Then when we come back, I'm going to puree it, adjust the seasonings, and we're done. Okay. So we're going to be done blending, unless I need to readjust after I add some stock. You can come and see it's very, very thick at this point, and so this is where It's up to you how to proceed, but I'll show you how I like to do it. Okay, it's a little bit more of a puree, right, than a soup, so I'm going to add some more vegetable stock. I always make things in large portions, right, because I want to put soup in the freezer and I want to have leftovers to make other things. So I'm going to just stir that in. Oh, that's looking a lot better to me. So you can see, just add it in, a lot more soup-like. And I'm going to give it a taste and see how to adjust the seasonings, and then this is going to be done. Oh, that is so good. If you start with a roasted squash, it's so sweet already. It was roasted with some olive oil, salt, and pepper. It's so delicious. But this is your basic squash soup, and I made a whole vat of it. Some of it is going to go to the freezer, and then the rest I'm going to use to make those other two soups I told you about. In the meantime, enjoy.